Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great day. My name is Dr. Harvey Castro, coming in from Dallas, Texas. And let me just share my PowerPoint. And let's see. Unfortunately, I'm looking at it saying here that to share the audio, it only lets me if I do a Chrome, and I don't see it under my Chrome. So I apologize if I cannot share the yeah. All right. Well, we'll just do what we can best.
Listen to me very carefully. That's one of.
All right. So, unfortunately,
Listen to me very.
Can you hear that or no?
That's one of my mission parameters. I'll drive. Trust me.
Hi, Harvey, we can hear you. You can proceed with your presentation.
Can you hear the presentation?
Yes, we can hear the presentation. You can go ahead.
Good. Okay, let's go.
As a patient advocate, I'm excited about the potential of AI in healthcare. I enjoy following Dr. Castro on LinkedIn.
Accurate early disease detection, groundbreaking.
This technology promises a future where care is customized to each individual's unique health profile. Keep up the good work, Dr. Castro.
Yes, predictive diagnostics within reach.
Thanks to innovation in this field, personalized healthcare is becoming accessible to all. I'm happy to see that Dr. Castro wrote the first book on ChatGPT in healthcare back in 2022.
No more injuries undetected?
Hi, as an AI researcher, I collaborate with medical experts, like Dr. Castro, to develop technologies that predict health risks, personalize therapies, and support surgical procedures. Our aim is to leverage AI to not only improve health outcomes, but also to save lives.
VideoGen AI medical imaging transformed.
The new iPhone 18 will leverage small language models. I am excited to see what applications Dr. Castro will create. He has several Apple Vision Pro applications out.
As a patient.
All right. So as you know, the landscape of AI is growing. All my presentation obviously is using AI. Obviously, that was a deep fake. This video that I just showed is literally a text to video. So I literally put this prompt right now that is the PowerPoint, the words, and it made that image. These images that you're seeing underneath is all the startups as of March of this year. That's how many startups have been in AI. Unreal. Where are we at in this current state of healthcare? This is huge. AI is showing adoption in healthcare is growing by an exponential rate. We're seeing about 40% of healthcare institutions incorporating AI into practice. As we move forward, why are we doing all this? And this is why I'm so passionate about this subject. And this one slide summarizes why I'm extremely passionate. And it's basically about this mother named Courtney and her son named Alex. You see, he was just 4 years old, and think of this child that was actively playing and having fun, and all of a sudden his health started to decline. And as his health started to go down, his mom took him to 17 doctors over a span of 3-year period. That's 17 doctors. And so, unfortunately, they had to run every test. They reviewed all his medical conditions, all his data, and they had nothing. There were no answers. And so as mom was just disheartened for what had happened, could you imagine having a kid that for 3 years you had no diagnosis? And so in desperation, Courtney, the mother, turned into AI, and she entered all the symptoms, all the test results, and then within seconds, AI gave her the diagnosis. It found the diagnosis that had eluded 17 doctors. And AI did what years of frustration and searching couldn't. It found the answer. And so Alex had surgery, and now he's on the path of recovery. What's amazing is the potential of AI, what it could do, and it just doesn't stop there. It continues to grow, and I'll show you examples. The average human being's IQ is somewhere between 80 and 110. These AI models, if you can see in this chart here, are going to higher IQs. To give you an example, ChatGPT 3.5 was at an IQ around 126. These bigger models that we're hearing about, Gemini 1 and Llama 3 are starting to shift. The ChatGPT 4 is starting to shift to a 138 IQ. As these models get bigger and bigger, they get smarter and smarter. someone that's considered a PhD domain expert is an IQ around 150 in that specialty. As you can see in the graph here, ChatGPT 5 is looking at around 156 and higher. And so what are the main components that we look at healthcare? Well, here's a deep fake of my face, and I always wish I had a British accent.
What are the AI components in healthcare? Definition: artificial intelligence, AI, simulation of human intelligence by machines. Key components: machine learning, ML, algorithms that enable computers to learn from data and make decisions. Natural language processing, NLP, allows machines to understand and respond to human language. Computer vision enables machines to interpret and make decisions based on visual data. Robotics, application of AI to perform tasks that typically require human intervention.
All right. And so we all have heard of IBM Watson for oncology. If you're really into AI, you've heard that there's this thing called Watson, and the whole goal was to use this AI feature in oncology, and unfortunately it didn't do too well. But I'm happy to say that, yes, that company didn't do well, but companies after, years later, with better GPUs, better information, better AI technology, is now able to do something what IBM Watson wanted to do for oncology. So Tempus is a company that's using AI analytics to basically analyze clinical and molecular data to help oncologists determine what that real-time information is and making that data decision. Should the patient go to this clinic? Should they go to this clinical trial? So it's pretty interesting. Ancora Medical now is doing the same thing. They're using predictive analytics to personalize radiation therapy and treatments. Other companies out there, everybody's heard, especially in the US, of Epic Systems. They're using AI to evaluate help with us ER doctors in helping identify patients that are early sepsis or predicting outcomes for readmissions. Cleveland Clinic is doing the same thing, doing predictive analytics, and they're claiming that their readmissions risk predictions is improved by 12% over traditional ways of doing things. And so I'm really excited to see how AI is working. The World Health Organization created this thing called Sarah, and I'll play a quick video, but basically Sarah is an AI bot.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and it's so nice to meet you. Human health is my specialty, and I want everyone to live a healthier life. There is so much we can talk about, from tobacco products and alcohol, to healthy living and mental health. Is there something specific you'd like to talk about?
So when I see this video, it makes me think, man, this is the future of healthcare. This is how we're going to deliver it. Here's the World Health Organization created a bot that's very focused in preventive diseases. They have some key topics, but the key thing is this thing is open 24/7 and in 8 languages. And so now this type of information is going to help for preventive medicine. It's going to start equalizing the level here in healthcare for different countries, different areas, because we can create this amazing platform. And so as we look forward, there's this other platform called Hippocratic AI. What's really interesting about what this company did is they're doing the intake. For example, if you're a patient that needs to go see a doctor and we need to review your medical conditions, your diet, your assessment, all this is AI calling you, and you're having a conversation with AI, and AI is able to transcript this entire conversation. What's really fascinating to me is they're charging about $9 an hour, US dollars, to use this information. And the idea is if the nurse costs $40 and this is the job that they're doing, now AI will create the same experience. At least that's the goal from the company. There's different ways of transcribing in the administrative world. At one point, I owned 8 emergency rooms. I had 350 employees, had my own staffing company, my own billing company. I had about 70 doctors under me. And I know how important it is to have these utility tools that would help me make my life better. As far as some of the ones here I like to highlight is Nabla AI. I really like their clinical note taker, being able to integrate this into the electronic medical records. And it does it pretty well. But just that whole idea of being able to use AI to leverage. When I create conversations with my different patients, their average patient only gets 13 minutes with their doctor. And so I thought, man, how do I use AI to help my patients? So I created this thing called MediHelper. It's free. And I tell my patients, hey, use my app. And then before coming to see me, go through, and the AI is helping formulate what questions to ask. What if I have diabetes, hypertension? What should I start asking? What follow-up questions? That way, when they see me, they're ready to go. They have that information. They know what questions to ask. And that way, when we have that time, we're able to maximize it. In fact, I'm telling my patients, bring your computer and we'll talk you through the different points. Something else that I did for my pediatric patients, my discharge instructions, I take all the core concepts of the discharge instructions, create those core concepts, and then I put them into AI. And then AI is able to make a coloring book equivalent. And so now, instead of giving the parents discharging papers, I give them a coloring book. Now I can actually color with the child and explain the disease process. The other thing I did is I cloned my voice. And so here's my cloned voice.
Correct inhaler technique for children. Managing asthma triggered by sports. Communicating asthma symptoms to adults.
So anyway, so I just wanted to show you that. And so for my teenagers, I give them comic strips, just explaining the disease process. And I use AI and make sure it's under my own platform, so it's HIPAA compliant. I make sure that I'm protecting the identifiers and I'm giving them this discharge instruction in a way that they understand. And so for adults, I do the same thing. I clone my face, I clone my voice. To give you a proof of concept, last year, I created something in March of last year, and it's called the GPT podcast. And all I did is I could take any blog that's out there in the world, I can put it into my blog, and then I clone my voice, I clone my business partner's voice, and we have a fake conversation that AI generated about that blog or about that topic. Or imagine a patient wanting to learn about heart disease, and I can upload that information about heart disease, and it's an entire conversation. So it's pretty fun to do. The other thing I do for my pediatric patients is I created
Tell me
a
about
plushie.
This device, and I wanted to check it out. Hey, Grok, how are you?
Hello, Dr. Castro. I'm feeling charged up and ready to explore with you.
Nice to meet you. What all can you do?
Nice to meet you too, Dr. Castro. I can tell jokes, play games, and chat with you.
All right, let's give me a joke real quick.
Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field.
All right, well, this is Grok, and I wanted to share it with you. This is going to be my son. Tell me about.
So I just wanted to share that, because imagine a kid that's scared and having issues and about their healthcare, getting a shot. Now I can use that plushie, and I've been working on it myself. Now I've been able to reduce the lag time. Now it sounds more of a fluid conversation. That's something that I'm personally working on. I have a company that we own, an AI company, and we create different products. Now this next one is really interesting. I could take anyone's picture that's out there and an audio from you, and I can do the following. Now, literally, remember, this is just the picture and the audio. Now Microsoft has this product, and this is the results.
Have you ever had, maybe you're in that place right now where you want to turn your life around, and you know somewhere deep in your soul there could be some decisions that you have to make. Like, you know, like it's like something was decided for you, and instead of trying to make something that is done work, it's like the invitation is to make the decision, commit to that, and to start creating what comes next. But here's the thing.
So I just wanted to show you the power. So imagine in the healthcare world, instead of discharging you with papers, now I can give you a video like that. And then you can see me, you can hear my voice, you can see my inflection. But all I did was use a picture and then the transcription. Amazing. As we move forward, we know that telemedicine is a big deal. And there's multiple companies taking advantage of AI and telemedicine. One of the things that I'm excited about is the predictive analytics. For example, AI-powered blood tests for Parkinson's disease. Now I can diagnose patients, or I can at least tell them that they're possibly going to have Parkinson's 7 years before their first symptoms. 7 years. And so now I can do a blood test and say, hey, this is what's going on in Parkinson's disease. These are the different studies. In 7 years, medicine might be different. Or what if we can start preventing your disease? And so the power of AI, being able to go into predictive analytics, is huge. The other thing I always say is, if I'm talking to you and you're my patient, why am I looking away? Why am I looking at a computer screen typing when I should be looking at you? And so it's so important to have conversational AI and ambient listening, where it's creating a conversation. It's listening to our conversation, extracting that information, and putting it all into the electronic medical record. That way I'm focused on you. Think about how many times you go to the doctor and they're just staring at the computer. Wouldn't you want them to just look at you and talk to you as a human being? And so I'm really excited about products like this that are going to start extracting that information and putting it into the medical record. Now, I literally just gave a talk in South Africa, and I love the accents of people outside the world, so I had to clone my face. So this is me cloned, and then I had to use their British accent so that you could see it. And so this is another device called the Limitless Pendant, and let me show you. Let me go back, sorry.
Limitless Pendant preserving conversations, lunch meetings, conferences, client calls, or doctor visits. Personal reflection, verbal processing, thinking out loud, capturing a thought while your hands are busy, organizing the unexpected, to-dos, reminders, or just reliving precious moments. Agenda HIPAA compliant.
All right. And so the next question is, well, when I was going through medical school, it was Dr. Google, and my attendings and my professors hated Dr. Google. And now we got Dr. ChatGPT, and I go by the name of Dr. GPT. So what is going on here when, I'm personally not worried about my doctors, because I know they have a medical license, and I know my nurses have a license, and they're not going to fall to this trick so easily of ChatGPT hallucinating. I am more worried about my patients. So I'm giving this flow chart, and you're welcome to go on my LinkedIn and have this. But it's a flow chart that if I give to my patients to say, okay, if you're trying to use AI, specifically ChatGPT or any of the different AI models for your healthcare, I want you to make sure you have a human in the loop. That is so important. That's what this fancy diagram, this is in one of the books that I wrote last year. I think it was March or February of last year on ChatGPT in healthcare. By the way, I wrote the first book on how to use ChatGPT in healthcare back in 2022. And so when you think, how do I integrate this into AI? How do I use AI in healthcare? We have to remember we have some technical challenges. Obviously, there's ethical and regulatory issues. We need to make sure we keep our patient privacy secure. We make sure that our data secure, that the regulatory compliance in our district, that we're doing it correct. I'm in the United States, so we're under HIPAA laws and U.S. laws. But if you're in Europe, you're probably under the GDPR, and they have different types of laws and rules. So some of the tools that we show you, we may not be able to implement in your area. And so as we look forward to overcoming these challenges, I think the number one for me is overcoming the culture. A lot of doctors do not like AI, and I'm out there teaching AI. So we have to explain how AI works and why it's beneficial. And we got to make sure we are addressing all these issues. And until that culture changes, it's going to be difficult. And so I always give an example that if I'm in Silicon Valley and it's very progressive, I could probably do some things in that area a lot quicker and faster and adopt it, as opposed to if I'm going to call out West Texas, and very slow country place and very traditional, I may not be able to do all the things. And so we need to overcome these challenges. And so when I look into
I had a revelation, a vision, a picture in my head, a picture of this, the flux capacitor.
And so when I think of the future of healthcare, I really think of robots. And you're like, oh, Harvey, that's not going to happen. Well, I think I'm going to change this prediction that we're going to start seeing examples of robots in healthcare by the year 26 to 27. And why? Elon Musk is going to start having his robots using the Tesla factory in 2025. I think by the time 2025 is done and he's had his robots and fine-tuned it, I truly see that these robots will now be in healthcare. And why do I say that? Because the voice that you're hearing right now, if you had the algorithm on, you would be able to say, hey, Harvey's a pre-diabetic or Harvey's a diabetic, just with my voice. The camera feed that you're able to see, the robot would have that same feed. So they'd be able to say, hey, your blood pressure is this. He's this years old. He's at risk for depression. When he walks, the AI is able to analyze the way I walk and say his left hip is not doing well. He's at risk for Parkinson's disease. And so I truly think this is going to be the future. And why do I say that? It's pretty simple. Our healthcare providers, professionals around the world, we're about 18 million short. And what does that mean to us? Well, if we're about 18 million short by the year 2030, our population's only aging. Our physicians and nurses are only declining. Our gap is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And as that gap gets bigger, we're going to start hearing about people dying in the emergency room, people not getting the care they deserve. And so we need solutions. And I really think it's going to be AI, but not just AI. It's going to be that AI with the robot. It's going to help that nurse that's having a hard time lifting patients and doing things because they want to just retire because they physically can't. But now with the robot, they'll be able to extend. One of the things I talk about is the future and how to use these things. And I got myself a Rabbit R1. I don't have any stock in them or anything like that. But I thought, man, if I could secure this thing and put it under a HIPAA secure server, take a picture of EKG, and then with my voice say, call the CAF team, then all of a sudden it would be able to send that EKG with that one voice command to the cardiologist, to the cath team, so they can come into the hospital, to the hospital administrator to hold that bed, all of that just with my voice and a picture. So 2 clicks. I really see something like this in the future being core in our healthcare. And then I know some of you are like, well, the iPhone can do some of that stuff already. And you're right. But if I'm a hospital administrator and I have to buy these things for everybody, do I want to spend $200 or do I want to spend $1,500? And so these are the things that will be interesting to see as we move forward. Obviously, the Mayo Clinic is already using, I mentioned, predictive analytics. Mass General is as well, Cleveland Clinics, and we're seeing all this stuff out there that's helping. One of my friends gave me this slide, and it says, basically, I'm going to tell people out there, you need to follow people on the right, on the left, and where you're at, because to really understand this, you need to find different voices. And so this is just a slide to kind of show you, hey, these are some of the people out there. I've been blessed. People are saying that I'm right there and doing. I have my own AI company. I'm also obviously optimistic, but I'm very realistic. So I encourage you to follow different people. Real quick, I want to show you this podcast. And now when you're driving, you can turn on this podcast and have a conversation with your podcast.
Can you tell me about AI and healthcare?
Oh, this is a fascinating area. AI is making waves in healthcare with some groundbreaking developments. Firstly, scientists have developed a simple blood test using artificial intelligence that can predict Parkinson's disease up to 7 years before symptoms appear. This could be a game changer.
All right, so basically the skinny is you can have a conversation with your podcast, and it's free. I created cheat sheets of how to use ChatGPT in healthcare. I had a basic and an advanced, and I have a ethics one. Feel free to go on my LinkedIn, and it's there, and it's under my profile favorites, and you can have it. I actually created a digital twin. I have over 18 books on Amazon, and I took all those books every time I'm interviewed, every time I'm on TV, every podcast, and I put it all into my own model. And now you can have a conversation with me. So if you go to my website, harveycastromd.com / go to resource page, then you see that little widget. You can actually have a conversation with me. And if you're on your computer, there should be a little button that shows you my clone voice, and I can read my conversation with you. I put my resume in there as well, all my books, and you can literally have a conversation with me.